tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial, ella con su rosa especial, todos quieren ese especial.
Huzzah! I am Monk, your host. Welcome to PIDCAST Episode 6. We are the podcast by fans, for fans, and for the people who know it's always Yappy Hour somewhere. PIDCAST is part of the Bangarang soccer community, telling soccer stories a mile in the sky and on till morning. And boy, are we telling stories this year. Don't forget to check out our NWSL sister show, Sum It Up, our interview series, Interrobang, and our bi-weekly Rapids 2 show called R2P2 with Keith Richards. Sadly, Vittori isn't here, and you have to just deal with Matt and I. He's a guy who refused to give me off Good Friday, though, so we're going to have a discussion about that, because, I'd really love to have tomorrow off.
Bad boys have to work Good Friday. You can have off Bad Friday. Like
Bad Friday?
Seems
up.
pretty simple arithmetic for me, Monk. Like, what else do you want?
It's true. I deserve Bad Friday off. We're going to invent a holiday.
Which Friday do you think would be Bad Friday?
So like the Friday before Halloween or something? Or
we need to pick. Let's set an annual PIDCAST. I'm just going to pull up the calendar right now.
Just find one, just randomly dart it.
Yeah. What? Let's see. Yeah, change the time zone, Google. Thank you, Google. Let's go to the year view. Come on. Bad Friday. Halloween is on Bad Friday, October 30th. Let's do it.
Sweet.
Bad Friday.
We've now picked Bad Friday.
And this is important because Rapids have a Halloween game.
I know, actually on Halloween. I'm excited for it.
This could be a big weekend. Bad Friday into a Halloween game.
Yeah.
Monk, you might have to play.
I might have to play. I have to work on. I'm gonna start getting in better shape. Jog to midfield and then I'm out.
Your Good Friday goal is to get game ready, and Matt Wells' system is very high intensity.
It's true. I can't be Morris and just like make it on the field for 5 minutes and then sit down and get pulled off.
No.
I gotta play it out.
Jordan Morris, good for him. It's honest work if you can get it.
Oh man. So what's going on in Pitter Chatter, Matt?
Too much. We shouldn't have taken a week off. There's too much to talk about. Here we go.
It's like 3 pages.
I know. I'm gonna put it on my Estelle voice. You'll be my international boy. The Rapids were on break this week for the international call-ups of surprisingly many Rapids players. First team saw Lucas Herrington called up to Australia, Donavan Phillip to St. Lucia, Darren Yapi and Noah Cobb to the U21 U.S. Youth National Team, Bryce Jamison to the U20 Youth National Team, and newcomer Georgie Minoungou for Burkina Faso, who I learned are nicknamed the Stallions. Rapids 2 sent up Zach Campagnolo to the U19 U.S. Youth National Team and Jabari De Couteau to Grenada. The Academy wasn't left out either. They sent budding stars Alex Hernandez to the Mexico U16 National Team and Aiden Appia to the U15 U.S. Youth National Team. Bonus round, former PIDs. Moise is back with his good friend Ralph Priso on the Canadian national team. Austin Trusty appeared for the Daddy Yanks. I really want to say Daddy Yankees, but I feel like after all those youth nationals, it gets a little dicey. And then Colton Swan joined Bryce Jamison on that U20 U.S. Youth National Team side. Yapi scored a goal against Japan. Lucas was named man of the match in his debut for Australia. Donavan Phillip also scored a goal for St. Lucia. Georgie Minoungo started for Burkina. Big call-ups for the PIDs this last couple of weeks. What do you think, Monk?
It's good news across the board right there. Especially like we've always been strong with our youth and our academy and stuff like that. So it's good to see them getting calls up. I'd love to see some of our senior players to maybe get some calls up, like our Steffens and our Aaronsons, right? Getting those all-stars up there, because I feel like that's that's really where we want to shine. But like this, you can't complain. Like look at all those teams just picking our pocket, which kind of sucks for us because last time we had all those pickups, then all of a sudden our team kind of went like this because do we have 18 players on our senior team at the moment yet? Because I don't know what we're gonna do.
I know organizationally we had 10 players. Luckily there was a break, but we had 10 players called up. I do think in this case, because if you look down that list that I just said, these are all 23 and under. I think these call ups are just immensely valuable to their development, to their game experience, and also kind of adding new arrows into their quiver when they're going up and playing different systems, different opponents, with different players and different coaches. I think they bring that back with them. I don't think it's as strenuous as when you have your national team players coming up for some hard going friendlies or qualifiers, and then they come back spent.
Yeah, it's very true. Very, very true.
Yeah, and in other news, Rapids Unified announced that they'll host their annual signing day event next Tuesday, April 7th at the Catalyst Center in Rhino. This is one of the most joyful experiences you can ever attend. All of the Rapids Unified players will get the exact same treatment as the Rapids 2 and Rapids 1 players, where Porig Smith will introduce them. They will sign their Rapids Unified contract. There will be media, photos taken, the whole shebang. I think we're going to see Rob Holding and Lucas Herrington there. Everyone talked last year about who would pass the torch for Unified once Lawless and Cole departed to other teams. And I think it's really cool to see Rob and Lucas picking up the baton there. They also announced the first 2 matches of their 3-match season will be away for Rocky Mountain Cup in Salt Lake on May 16th, and then at home on August 1st. If you've listened to this podcast, you know that we love the Rapids Unified team. You know we love going to those matches, and we love to see you there this season.
Yeah, they're awesome matches to see, and there's just like a level of excitement, and having spent a little bit of time hanging with players in the past, it's just a fun experience. It is a lot of fun, and usually they're after the game, right? So assuming the Rapids do really well, party it up, and then hang out in the stands and just enjoy the game, and they just have such excitement in it. I don't know. You get to see them be like so elated, like
Yeah.
that it's so much fun, like legitimately so much fun to watch them play.
I think the first team and second team of the Rapids could stand to take some celebration tips from the Unified team, because they party hardy on that field. They get their goals, and boy, do they show out. And then afterwards, it is just wild. Let's move into our next PIDCAST topic. We get to talk transfers. Monk, remember when Matt Wells said, judge them at the end of the transfer window? Well, the transfer window ended. Judge them we will. The 3 pickups, if you aren't counting the additions in the winter, the 3 pickups at the deadline of the transfer window were Loïc Williams. This is a 24-year-old 6'2" center back from La Liga 2, plays for Granada, not to be mixed up with Grenada, who Jabari Koto was called up to. Kosi Thompson, who seems to be another Canadian army knife, jack of all trades, billed as a right back. We're getting him from Toronto. And then this is my favorite. We called for this last year. I think maybe the scouting department listens to PIDCAST, Monk, because they brought in Georgie Minoungou. This was a favorite of mine, of ours. I do want to point out on the list of players we asked for last year. We asked for Brian Gutierrez, who we knew the team was in on. Unfortunately, he did go to Mexico. But we got Paxten Aronson in the wake of that, or instead of that. So no love lost there, or no tears shed there. We asked for Jack McGlynn, still holding out. We've also asked for Marcelo Flores and Mexican Mbappe, Ozzy Herrera, still holding out. But we asked for Dante Sealy, and we got him. And we asked for our guy, Georgie Minoungou from the Seattle Sounders. And lo and behold, he is now a Burgundy boy. What do you think of these signings? Any initial thoughts? You want to dissect them a little bit?
I would say that they're all good signings. The summer, when we get players later in the season, it's always a struggle, right? Because it usually takes them a little bit to get their feet wet. So I usually try and judge them more on their second season. But same thing with Aronson, right? When he came in, it was it's just hard, right? Your team has been building a dynamic. They're doing stuff. Positive is our team has been in chaos the whole off season. So these guys will be coming into a system that hasn't quite actually flushed itself out. So maybe we get to see them be a little bit more impactful in their initial games just because there's not a bunch of people that are in their standard positions. And this is the way they've been playing for a year or two together. It's more only a couple of months together. So I think it's really solid what we've done. I don't know what my favorite one is though. I kind of feel like it's Thompson because I feel like our back line could use some help a little bit. So I think that that's going to be maybe a bigger impact. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the recap, but just our back line is kind of where we've struggled, I would argue, more than other areas recently.
I think that's a good shout. Important for listeners that aren't completely up to speed. We won't see Loïc Williams until the summer after the La Liga 2 season ends. I think he's a target that we've been looking at since, if you recall, Monk, remember when we were going to bring in the Israeli center back, Stav Lemkin, and then that rug got pulled at the last second. I think the scouting on Loïc Williams and the transfer interest dates back to that time period. I know Rapids have been in on him for a good bit, and January was when we first got media reports that the Rapids were looking at him. So I think this is a long-term target. This is probably an Ian Murphy replacement, and then Rob Holding insurance. Kosi Thompson, I think is really cool. I talked about that jack of all trades part. I want to pull up some of the scouting report from Toronto, from one of their beat writers. It says, despite his consistent availability and high work rate, Thompson's tenure in Toronto was often defined by his role as a utility man rather than a specialist. Originally a natural midfielder, he was frequently moved across the pitch to fill tactical gaps. Thompson shifted toward a defensive role, often appearing as a right back or a wing back. Additionally, he saw time in central midfield and even filled in at center back during various injury crises. I think this is a great signing as far as Reggie Cannon insurance, a great signing as far as maybe having a more spry, ambidextrous fullback for Keegan to be spelled with. We saw Miguel and Jackson going out at the left and right. I honed in on a comment that Matt Wells says in a post-game presser when we weren't sure who was going to play right back, that midfield skill sets work particularly well for the role he establishes fullbacks as in his system. So Kosi's experience as an original natural midfielder, moving back to the pitch and then to the flanks and then almost back up to wing back, I think he's the type of player that can come off the bench a lot until Matt kind of hones him into that special role that he needs to play, and then can really do some damage in this system. And then,
I think that's where he's going to end up more than likely. And I could be completely wrong, right? Is just more in a defensive fixture because our midfield is, I would argue, pretty strong actually. And so I think that role in the back is a lot more up for grabs if he's going to be a huge impact player. If he's just going to be a player that we use off the bench whenever, because he can go anywhere, that's great. But if that's, I think that he's probably got bigger aspirations than being an off the bench player. So
yeah, I could see him spelling Hamza Ojederin like Josh Atencio has been doing lately, a player that can play that 6 role, but also comfortably drop back to be that middle center back and a back 3 in certain situations. I think maybe we have to think about, like, are they a bit thin with Connor Ronan's injury that he's coming back from? It just seems like a lot of value and a uh, pretty good flyer to send. So I like your shot on Kosi Thompson, but I'm gonna double down on my guy, Georgie Minoungou. First off, this is a guy with a a crazy fascinating story. 2023, gets an infection in his right eye, is declared legally blind in that eye, thinks his career is over, and decides to persevere, to push through, comes up through Tacoma Defiance, then up to Seattle Sounders. When the trade was announced to the Rapids, all of the praise was coming out. Georgie's one of the statistical best 1v1 dribblers in the MLS. He has a crazy high motor. He can play left and right wing. I think he'll slot in left and be that kind of inverted right-footed winger that Matt Wells likes there. And for the Porig Smith scouting category, he's on his national team. Like, checks all the boxes. Young, national team, versatile, really fast. I worry what this means for Alexi Manyoma, who I really like as well, whose loan, I believe, has to have a decision made by July 21st. This might say more about that loan being purchased than anything else. What do you think?
Yeah, that's. I'd hate to see Minyoma end up out or something like that, but that's part of the loan process, right? You kind of test people out, and if you find a better fixture, or if you don't really show well, that's kind of why you make that loan gamble compared to like buying a player. But I think competition in any sort can always, help us raise in all the boats if we got some competition in some of our positions. And I think that's arguably we kind of lacked a little bit to start the season because we just didn't have a full team. So filling out the roster a little bit maybe helps us some, and it might also give us some ideas more on what Wells really truly plans for this team, right? Because he had more of a decision on these things, probably than some of the other stuff from when he came in, and so. Like I'm interested to see how like I'd want to know how much he had in these specific signings and how much, because I know we've, as you were talking about, like we've been kind of scouting these guys for probably a while, but did he have the option to be like, no, that's not really what I'm looking for, or did he really like love these guys and that's why we brought him in after our scouting reports? And it'd be interesting to see how he uses them and just like how much of an opinion he actually got with the building of this team in this transfer window.
My understanding is that maybe they had been initiated before him, but that Matt Wells was very hands-on with the Hamzat Ojederin and Dante Sealy signings, talking to the players, pitching the project. So I would assume, I think Georgie Minoungou is probably the most Matt Wells signing here. And I'm trying to parse through some of the conversations that I've had with Matt. And he talked about last week, towards the transfer deadline, that he had just been on the phone with a player, pitching the project to them that morning. And I think that was Georgie Minoungou. And I think if you're a winger, getting a call from Matt Wells describing wing play the way he's been very forthcoming, describing it to us in the media in post game and training availability, like, you would just chomp at the bit to want that role. Like, if I was a winger and Matt Wells described what I was going to do in the system, I'm there, I'm in, I'm ready to go. So this could be the start, if Matt Wells continues this success, like a burgeoning coach slash kind of CSO personnel man hybrid. Maybe we get the Peter Vermees treatment, and he's here for 300 years. Probably not. Maybe two in the Premier League, snapping him up.
Yeah, I'm really interested in how he slots Philly, because like we're kind of just now seeing what Wells's plans are and how he's building this team from just a strategy standpoint. So I'm interested to see how these guys slot in, and really that next transfer window, because I think that's really going to be a telling point for this team, with the new coach coming in this year and with the amount of people we've slotted out and kind of brought in, and some of the contracts kind of coming up and stuff like that. I'm interested to see what the next transfer window really looks like for us, and to see what we're looking for, and where we find ourselves to be weak, and where Wells goes. We need a guy, and how much are we going to spend on the guy to really shore up some stuff. But I think it's not a bad transfer window. I don't think it's knock it out of the park. I think it could be. Like, I think there's this is kind of our standard, right? A little bit of that diamond in the rough, a little bit mentality. And if these guys can really shine, they can knock it out of the park. But none of these are like, the stadium's going to be packed because we brought in somebody. And that's what I consider like that knock out of the park kind of transfer window, like where you bring in somebody and it's like, we get an extra thousands of fans out of it. Not like a Messi level, right? I know we're not spending that kind of money, but like still, you can still find
Griezmann.
We'll
settle for a Griezmann, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Just something that's gonna kind of pack those stands. But winning games packs those stands as well. So you don't always have to have all-star players, but it does help.
Monk, we got our version of that in Rob Holding. What more could you ask for? Arsenal legend, charmer, wannabe cowboy, like, done. That's Christmas list checked off.
We're out.
I'm gonna draw this whole window into perspective to grade it. I think this window, starting, we'll call it January, we see Lucas Herrington finally get to the team. Even though he signed last summer, he stayed in Brisbane until their season was over and came in 2026. That's got to be an A+ signing right there. I mean, we might not keep him after the World Cup. We might not be able to beat back those offers. We have Hamza Ojederan, who's one of my favorite players on the team so quickly from a personality standpoint, but all of the things he does to facilitate. And then when he does get up and play YOLO ball, love it. Dante Sealy, he's had a bit of a spotty start, a couple of assists, looks to be a great dead ball specialist that we needed. Matt Wells praised him as having his best game against NYCFC away, even though the counting stats might not show that. And if Matt Wells is still in on Dante and what's to come, then I think the entire fan base should be. Going back to that winger conversation we had about Matt Wells' vision there. And now we've got Kosi Thompson, who can probably fill all 11 positions. Maybe he plays goalkeeper too. We've got Loïc Williams, who will come in the summer, and I think is going to be a challenge for starting minutes and a valuable depth piece until a spot is freed up. And then another, I'll call it a B+ move on Georgie Minoungou. I think we got to give credit to Porig and Fran. I think they cooked this offseason.
I am really hoping that's the case. We need it. We need this team to show up. And this season, I think, like, we're gonna get into it when we get to NYCFC, but like, or Kansas City. That's the wrong caption.
Guys, remember when you told you Monk will read whatever we put in the script?
I was like, wait, that's why I told you we should just put match there, because I was like, it's big and bold. I was like, that's wrong. So Kansas City game, but like, this team is looking solid. It actually is, but we'll get into a little bit of some negatives around what that is, but just, it's looking solid. And if these players are going to shore that up, and Wells has like a strategy, and what I'm really would be excited for is next season. Right? Like, this season, I want us to do well. I want us to crush it. What I really want to see is him to build a team, and then us go, we have these 2 spots that we need to go spend $5 million on or whatever, and go get those 2 spots and not sell the farm again.
What do you predict those 2 spots will be?
Oh, that's a hard one. I feel like one of those is going to be a really strong leader in defense. Like maybe one of our central defenders, just somebody that's not that like our defense isn't talented, but like someone who's that vocal, really strong defender. Because I also am wondering if we still have Stefan next year. So I think that he's kind of that steward back there, your strong leader. And nothing against Nico, but like Stefan, I feel like is the more louder leadership individual than he is in that back line. And so I think that's an area that we need to really look at, is get somebody that's going to be that steward there. And what's the other one? That's a really hard one. I'm wondering if it might be a defensive midfielder. Assuming either a defensive midfielder, or if Aronson kind of moves playing more that defensive role, an actual 10.
Interesting. Okay. I think we're seeing splashy signings in the offseason. It's going to be a number 9 and a number 10.
A number 9? Fucking Duvall's crushing it.
I know. That's why I'm worried he's not going to make it through the summer. He barely made it through last summer. And he started off the season hot again. Like
that's true.
What Rafa Navarro does on a pitch, like all of the counting stats and then all of the eye test and underlying metrics, like the last offer I believe was 7.5 for him from Fluminense. Like I would bet that's on the table again. And
I feel like we didn't sell him then because we just could not handle that kind of a hit. Like honestly, I feel like had we been last season and Georgie hadn't gone, like we would have sent Navarro been out of the door. We would have sold him for that money. But since we had the sales that we already had and the chest we already had, like getting rid of him and trying to find something would have just been like a terrible decision on the front office's part. I think it would have hit us way too hard to try and bring in another player of his caliber and try and get them ready and playing with this team. But
I think Rafa had a $10 million out the door price on him that just never got hit last year, and that's fine because I think what it's allowed him to do is continue to grow with and teach Darren Yapi. Because I think Yapi's going to get a U22 contract this year. I think one of those two that we have open, that's going to go to Yapi. We have one we can buy down from Ted Pietro to get that spot open. So if Rafa leaves, we open a DP spot, which I think would probably be a DP 10. And maybe they give Yapi the reins with a U22 and then bring in another 9 to support or play with him. Wells has talked about he views Pietro as a creative 10, Paxten as a creative 10, the all instead of Wayne Frederick last match as a 10, Paxten to left wing, Paxten to right back. I think what we've seen so far this season is that these are very movable parts in a synergistic whole for Matt, and the players are buying into it and we're seeing success. So we might just be saying all of this hot air for who knows what position, because who knows where they'll actually play once Matt moves around the chessboard.
So with Wells, like with that kind of mentality that we have a lot of people that can play multiple positions, and like Wells's style, because I don't know him really all that well. If you have a real strategist,
he's 37, brunette, has a golden doodle,
loves walks on the beach.
Yeah, really into strategy. David Byrne fan. I don't know if that's true.
But like, if you've got a real strategist that knows how to use those players and can change and rotate our style of play around who we're playing against, and I know that's not the norm, right? I'm usually a guy that says, hey, play your game, make them play against you. Right. But if you've got the talent that can move around and they have no idea what's coming out the gate any game, that can also be an advantage. But you have to have a coach that really knows how to do that to be successful in that, because that's really on the coach to be able to like, okay, I need you over here because we're doing this, and that requires a lot of scouting ahead for your teams, and that like it's a really cool strategy to watch though if you can see it. So I'm interested if we see a little bit of that where we're like, oh, we're going against this team, we're gonna swing this guy over here and swing you over here because they got a really strong left wing and weaker right wing at this team or whatever, and like kind of change how we play based on who we're playing against.
Yeah, I think if you remember during the Matt Wells signing, I thought Matt was going to be the Jesper Sorensen to our Rapids. I liked Vanni Sartini. I liked what he did with Vancouver. I liked that he brought up the floor of that team. And then the transition from Vanni to Jesper was like going from 89 octane to jet fuel. And just the extra performance he got out of those players was such a boon to that team. I mean, we loved watching Vancouver. At least I did. Sarah always makes fun of me for it. So I thought that's what Matt was going to be for this team. I still think to an extent that is the case, but with every time I talk to him, every time he explains something about the tactics in every game further that I've watched him platoon out the team, I'm leaning more into Wilfred Nancy comparisons where it feels like he's starting to go into playing jazz out there, and I dig it.
And it's always worrisome when you got people playing jazz because like you never know what's rolling out, right? You don't know what type to play, but like it can be really strong and really entertaining to watch, right? A lot more exciting soccer compared to, I'm gonna be honest, a little bit that like the backline English Gary Smith style, we're playing in our own 18 to distribute the ball every game, can get a little boring and give you a heart attack at the same time. So,
I mean, let's be fair. I think it's great that we're giving flowers early. Like, I love that that's our mentality. But let's also acknowledge that I love jazz, but when jazz goes wrong, it goes really fucking wrong. So TBD, but so far, initial returns, I'm digging it. The only other thing I think, let's end this transfer conversation that's devolved, is I do want to point out that the Rapids Academy is balling out at the GA Cup right now. I think what's really entertaining about this, I've mainly been following the GA Cup on Instagram, and there are accounts like Drip FC and even the Rapids Academy socials. Like, this seems like such a hype event. The celebrations these kids are doing, they're all about like the shoe game, the style of it. And then our guy Nathan Jumba is down there for the GA Cup balling out. So kudos to them, Academy. We are watching. We are rooting you on, and we're very entertained.
I hate to add one more piece to pitter chatter.
Nope. Moving on.
No. We have an Open Cup game.
Oh,
because I know that Matt was like super busy. So was I before the cast, and so like he got home and we literally just got on. But we actually have an Open Cup match on April 14th. Who is it against?
Against Omaha.
Yep.
So on April 14th at 7:30, the Rapids will host Union Omaha, featuring former Rapid 2 player Blake Malone. This will be in Commerce City. Point of note, the Switchbacks, I believe on the 15th, will host Sporting Kansas City in the Open Cup. And if both teams, the Switchbacks and the Rapids, win, then we will get a Colorado Derby where Rapids will host Switchbacks in Commerce City, I believe, the following week. Maybe later than that, but I think that could be really epic. I would love the vibes of a Switchbacks first Rapids game. Any notes there, Monk?
Not really. I'm just glad we're in the Open Cup, right? I'm more of a fan of that. I don't hate the other fixture that they made for Disney, but like I don't know. Open Cup's got the history, and I love I love that we're back in it. So just excited to see what we do there. One other piece of pitter chatter news is that the Summit played this last weekend. We haven't got to talk about that at all.
I'm gonna go back to Open Cup because this is a point I want to harp on.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I love the history of the Open Cup. 100-year American tournament. The sentiment is great. I love the people that post about the Open Cup, the sickos that are advocating for it, even when using things like the League's Cup as a Disney Cup, as a fly in the face of the Open Cup. I personally love the League's Cup. But all of that sentiment means nothing if you don't go sit in the stands and root on these teams during the Open Cup. These tickets
supposed to root your team on?
Are usually really cheap. For a lot of these, you're getting to see bigger teams play down at smaller stadiums where it's like a Friday Night Lights vibe. Like, you can't talk shit on the league and its coverage of US Open Cup and the League's Cup if you don't go out in the stands and watch this really cool long-standing American tournament. So buy the tickets, take the ride, root on your teams. A couple of other Open Cup storylines to look out for. Sam Bassett's showing out for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They're in the Open Cup. There is a world in which we could play Sam Bassett in the US Open Cup Championship. Unfortunately, Adam Beaudry and Loudoun United were just knocked out yesterday from the Open Cup. I was wondering if there was going to be a fun way we could see Adam Beaudry in net for the opposing team in the Open Cup. And that's the beauty of this tournament, is those types of things can happen. So get out there.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Like that's what I like about the Open Cup, which like I don't hate the Disney Cup, right? It's fine. Like having some more soccer to watch is always great. I like the Open Cup because you see different levels of teams. I think the struggle in America compared to other leagues is that you could, like, the way that it's designed, you could work your way up from essentially a rec league up into playing in the Premier League as a team. Right? And here you can't really do that. There's not that scale of stuff. Now, is it likely that you do that? No. So much money is invested in those teams, and so the teams that have the investment tend to stay in the league, right? But you have that pro rel stuff, and this is kind of an opportunity.
We're
to
not
see
opening a pro rel.
We're not going to open a pro rel, but like,
no,
you get to see the talent, and so like you could see some of these teams make a good run and see some of this talent that you don't usually see or hear about, which is really cool. So I agree. There's a lot of keyboard warriors out there that don't put their money where their mouth is, and they just like to talk a lot of shit, just because they like to talk shit. So,
yeah, I mean, last season, the entire country was rooting for a burrito joints soccer team to go all the way. And this year, that same burrito joints soccer team got knocked out and then is probably, I think, suspended for like a few years because they tried to fight the other team's fans after that. Like, this is the beauty of the Open Cup. This is American heritage.
Oh my God. I still remember an Open Cup game I went to, and I can't remember who we were playing, but like a brawl broke out because someone kicked Drew Moore in the head.
What?
And there was like 7 red cards. And the coaches got sent out. Like, there wasn't coaches anymore. Like, it was that level of like ejections where I think we were at like, it was close to the minimum you're allowed to have on the field for one of the teams because of the like fight that broke out. And it took forever to situate it out. It was crazy.
I would rush the field to defend Drew Moore getting kicked in the head. I'd brawl for that.
Yeah. I think it was Drew Moore. I could be wrong. I'm sure Maxwell will point it out at some point when he listens. Anyways, shall we talk a little bit about Summit, and then we can go into our other recap? because like
Yeah.
I feel like Summit needs to be talked about because that was historical. So I'm gonna let you lead the way on that, though.
You, me, and 63,004 of our friends all showed up and showed out for what was a historic day at Summit High Field Stadium. What was it? Was it Mile High Stadium, Mile High Field? It's in Power Field now, right?
Yeah, it was Mile High Stadium.
It's Summit High Stadium now. No take backsies. That's the deal. It was amazing. Like, it was one of those. I've told so many people that weren't there, that the conversations I had with so many people that were there is it's so rare to be in a moment and realize in the moment that it will be historic. Usually you feel those things afterwards, and this whole day outside of the stadium, Autumn Nicholas was out. They opened for Brandy Carlisle, did an impromptu parking lot concert, was amazing. Like the whole day seemed like a festival around the stadium, and then inside the stadium, like felt like we were at the Roman Colosseum. The uproar, the rumble, the excitement. It was wild, man. I loved it.
It was a great experience, and that is the way soccer should be here, right? Like, you have the fan base to do this kind of stuff, and we've talked about it a lot. Don't want to take too much away from Summit talk, but like, Kroenke, if you did anything at all with the Rapids and invested a little bit more and made consistent winning team, this is the community that you'd be reaching out to. 63,000 fans willing to go put their money, show up to a soccer game, right? That's a fan base that you can tap into. I'm just saying, you could tap into it. The Summit, oh my gosh. Like, walking around, like, the energy was just amazing. It was so much fun, such high energy. Everybody wearing green. Like, it was just this, it's an experience. It is such an experience to be there. And I feel really bad for those that didn't get to make it. But like, that's history there in Colorado. It's history in NWSL, the biggest game in history there, if I remember my stats. So, but oh man, just the excitement and the energy was great. And to quote Vittori, a 0-0 draw. It's fun,
the
right?
Funnest result in soccer.
Funnest thing in soccer is right there, the draw. I'll be honest, the game, like, you got to see great talent. I wish there'd been some goals because, like, when you have a fan base like that, right? Those are the games. The same thing, like when you have like July 4th for the Rapids, is like, you want the games to be like super exciting, high scoring in those scenarios because you've got a lot of fans that aren't soccer fans or aren't hardcore, right? And it's your opportunity to kind of make sparks fly. And a 0-0 draw is even a good, well-played 0-0 draw for an average person that's not a hardcore soccer fan isn't generally exciting. So it's the only damper on the day is that I wish we'd gotten to see some goals to like celebrate and enjoy and do those things. The team performed well. This is the only thing that I was like, oh, I wish we'd gotten some goals just because I want to see 60,000 fans being excited.
Yeah, that stadium was so shook up. I feel like if a goal had happened, it would have exploded. Nick Cushing, the head coach of Summit, talked about it. He's like, everything was magnificent, but damn it, I wish we had given them a goal. But more opportunities abound. Monk and I were talking about this pre-show. Do you want to point out upcoming April weekend? Big weekend for soccer in and around the Mile High City. We've got the Denver Summit hosting the San Diego Wave at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. If you're listening to this show, you know where that stadium is. Get in the car, get on the bus, get on your bike, start hoofing it now. Get there, pitch a tent in the parking lot, and stay over because the next night, U.S. Women's National Team versus Japan. And then make your way back, hitchhike 85 South, I-70, Quebec, whatever you need. Get to Summit High Stadium to see the Rapids' 30th anniversary birthday game, a.k.a. Messi at Mile High, maybe?
Messi at Mile High. I am hopeful. I know there's a lot of haters, but like, the chance to see that kind of talent doesn't come around that often. So watching a player of that caliber is just a treat in itself. I hope the Rapids just crush them, but being able to say that you've seen that talent live is just it's amazing, right? It's one of those things that I personally, right? I believe that Messi's won the at least modern GOAT debate pretty hard. There's arguments outside of that because I think generational is different. But anyways, that's its own discussion that'll come up in a later episode where Matt tells me that Messi's trash and washed and just retire.
They got punked out of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, so now he has no excuse not to play. So we better see him.
But like, I'm gonna be honest. From what I've seen from Messi in his tenure, he doesn't skip games. He's not Beckham.
Whatever.
Right? Like this is a guy that
I don't think he's one of those mountain goats that like can do all that cool high altitude running. I think he's just your run of the mill yard goat, and we'll see what happens when he comes out.
But like,
no, we can't spend any more time on Messi. I refuse.
Refuse because we have a Messi podcast that'll come up.
You know what? Let's talk about Messi. Let's talk about Medford, New Jersey Messi, Paxten Herrington, who had a brace against Sporting Kansas City in the last game that the Rapids played 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Like, yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Oh my God. Like, I forgot about this game. It was so long ago, and then the Summit game happened. This was a great game, right? 4-1. Great. Can't complain. 4-1. Stellar performance from our boys on the road. 4-1. That's even bigger. Walking into a divisional rival 4-1. Like this was a big game. I think it was really, really good. We did a really good job. I'm going to put my negatives now so that we can gush about it after. The negatives are Kansas City is the worst team in the West.
It doesn't matter.
They're a bad team right now. And so it's not a real trial for us, but still we went up against a full team, no red cards, nothing like that. Multiple goals, dominated. And I want to point out before Matt gets to go on his rant that when I said Navajo was going to score 21 goals this season, y'all laughed at me. If he keeps scoring at the rate he's scoring at, he will be 0.6 goals short of 21 goals.
There's like a quote about like the distinction between genius and crazy and how hard it is to tell from afar. That's you, Monk. That's you.
It is. If he doesn't get sold this summer, but
right.
But like, he is scoring on that level. Now to keep this up, we'll see. But like, he is scoring on that level. He is on par to score 21 goals right now, and that doesn't even include our man Pax, who's got 2 assists right now, and I called 8.
Yeah,
he's already a quarter of the way there. Like this, Pax had a great game with his brace, but like he's like those 2 players. When we talked at the beginning, he was like, they gotta show up, and this team is going to be good, and they are showing up. And we need that the whole season.
To your point, Monk, like I don't care how bad Kansas City is. I don't care how bad LA Galaxy could be. Like we exercise those demons. We beat those teams. Last year, we were a bad team that couldn't beat fellow bad teams. This year sure looks like we're at least a good team. Maybe we'll be a great team, but we're beating the teams we should. You can only face the people in front of you. And when we're doing that, we're doing it like a team that's built to win. We lost to Seattle on the road, first game. Seattle's a great team. We lost to New York City FC on the road. New York City is going to be one of the best teams in the East this season. They have a potential MVP candidate and Nico Fernandez. Our 2 losses are 2 earned losses. We could have been in those games, but they were to teams that deserved the win. We beat the 3 teams that we should have beat by a combined goal differential of, what is that? +8, 2-0 against Portland, 4-1 against Galaxy, 4-1 against Sporting.
What's crazy this year is we aren't playing down, and that's the big thing, right? We generally, in past history since Kroenke took over, it's we've played down to teams and lost in these games or drew in these games, and we aren't just winning, we're multi-goal winning on this kind of stuff, and that is huge. That is big. We'll go back to the factor that, yes, we've won 2 of those games up a man, and we went up against a team that's worst in the West. But those are the games, like we said, those are the games you win, and you play against the opponent you have in front of you, right? There's nothing you can do about that. I guess the big worry or gamble we have here right now is I don't feel like outside of the 2 teams that we've lost to, we've been really tested in these games and beat a team that either I feel is really equal to us or better than us. And we need to have those games, and we need to get wins in those games if we really want to be a playoff level team, right? We've got to prove our mettle in those type of games. We're beating the teams we should beat. And I want to see us go up against a team that either it's going to be even or they're arguably a better team and we win that game. And that's what I want to see. And throughout this season is see us kind of win those games and prove that we are on that level and not just punching down. But this game was absolutely amazing. Got to give it to the boys going in there and getting 4-1 win. Like, you could have easily gone up 2-1 and sat on your heels and given up and given a draw, right? But we didn't. We kept our foot on the gas. We did what we needed to do, and we showed that we were a dominant team. And I think that's important, and that's a killer mentality that we haven't had in the past. This is a team that once we score goals, we keep wanting to score more goals instead of scoring a goal and then just sitting back on our heels and giving them an opportunity to tie it up or even beat us, which is kind of what we used to do, right? Even if we went up on the rare occasion early, we'd sit back, and then all of a sudden they'd get back in the game, and then we'd lose our momentum and we'd give up points. And we're not doing that. We're scoring those goals and we're like, nope, we're going to keep coming. And that's the mentality we should have. And that's the mentality that builds the confidence of your Navajos, your Paxtens, your Yappies. Like, that's what you need. You need to let them just keep going and don't tell them to pull back.
I just want to say a couple quick things about this actual match, because what I think you just said tees us up so well for the game preview coming up. Calvin Harris, shout out to you. It was great seeing him ball out. Everyone said best player on SKC. He had himself a game. Good for him. Big fan of Calvin Harris. Wayne Frederick gets the goal. We're coming to the anointing of Wayne Frederick. He's now the next coming of the number 10 while Paxten plays the wing. And then, like you said, Hoffa and Paxten getting goals there. Great game. Put it in the books. To your point, Monk, about the schedule, you're right. I don't think we're going to get that test this week. This is a Toronto side we should beat. We need to beat, because the next slate of games for us before the break, if we go through, we could end up with a win against Toronto and have 12 points out of 6 fixtures to start the season, because then we go through hell. We host Houston. Houston are amazing so far this season. We host Miami. Whatever you think of Miami, I think that's a big game. We travel away to the place we've never won in LAFC, away to Vancouver, where the Pacific Northwest is just like a sinkhole for us, and then away again to Houston before finally getting a bit of a reprieve with a poor St. Louis City side on May 9th. That's the next stretch of 6 games compared to our
Salt Lake
previous
the game after that.
Yeah, you're right. It's season no offense to Toronto, season starts April 11th for me. That's hopefully we have 12 points, and then Matt Wells' system is gelled enough that we really get to test our mettle, because we are going to get tested. You want to talk about that Toronto game?
Let's go into Toronto. This is a game that I would agree we should win. They are currently sitting 7th in the East with 7 points. Record 2-2-1 with 1-0-1 at home and 1-2-0 on the road. Only 6 goals and 8 against, though, so they haven't really let in a lot, but they haven't really scored a lot.
What's Robin Fraser ball? Robin doesn't concede a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Except when he does, in which then it's like just an onslaught in a game.
And it's just last time they're coming off of a 2-1 win over Columbus. I don't know how exciting that is or how much momentum that brings. You know, the Rapids are sitting 7th. We got 9 points, record 3-2, undefeated, nothing but wins at home, away 1-2. So road we're not as solid, but as we talked about earlier, we went up to get some pretty solid teams on the road outside of KC. So I'm interested to see. I feel like this is another game we should win. We have goals 4-11 against 4, right? Like that's pretty solid. Overall head-to-head against Toronto, they're beating us out by 1 win. 6 wins to our 5 with 4 draws. The last meeting was in 2024 at the Dick, where we won 2-0. Cannon and Georgie getting the goals in that one. We've got to stay hot. I feel like we got to dominate this game the same way because of the list of opponents you just went over that we have to walk into. I think we need to go into that with confidence. This doesn't need to be a game where we win 1-0. Like it's fine, but like I really think if we can keep rolling with these multi-goal games, keep our guys hot and excited, we can go into that hard series and just have an opportunity, right? Have an opportunity to go in this break at the top of the table or towards the top of the table. And I think that's vitally important for us. And I don't want us to fall into the trap of like being too confident and walk into this game and give it up, though. And that's a worry I have. As a Rapid fan for a long time, is that this team goes and just like, oh, we're good. We just scored 4-1 on the road. We're fine. And then walk in Toronto. It's just like
6. I don't think they're going to go into this one overconfident. This is a 1 o'clock kickoff time in Toronto. It's 11 a.m. our time. I think the weather is supposed to be pretty miserable. The Rapids are healthy outside of Connor and Reggie, which is a disappointment because Reggie and Georgie were really good friends. I don't know if Reggie will still make the trip and travel with the team, but would have loved to get Reggie on the field against Georgie for to see that play out. And I would never be confident against a team with Djordje Mihailovic. I know some people jumped off that train when Georgie left in a hurry last year. I remain a big Georgie fan, both the person and the player. Georgie's got, I think, a goal and 2 assists this season, high thought mob rating, and I guarantee you he's going to come into this game with an agenda, and that's to put up stats against the Rapids.
It's that's always a worry when you got a player coming in with like he can't have too big of a chip. He hoodwinked his way out of us. But
Sure.
yeah. Let's not pretend the rumors don't exist that there was some shady shit going on. But whether that's true or not,
I hoodwinked my way out of a Ford Fiesta as well. Yeah, doesn't make me a bad person.
We're also he's so dangerous, and if he's got a chip on his shoulder against us, that's scary, right? Like I was scared of Bassett coming into our stadium. this is harder. We're going to his stadium now, and Georgie is just a talent. He is just a talent, and that scares me a little bit. Not gonna pretend that he doesn't have the opportunity to do stuff, but I also feel like we got the confidence, right? We got Paxten. I'm interested to see that play back and forth.
That's
right?
the matchup I'm looking at.
Because like Paxton's more defensive minded. Like, is he on him? Do you see these two going up against each other and kind of battling out more situation? And that'll be real telling.
This is like going to the dance with your new girlfriend, knowing your ex-girlfriend's going to be there, because there were so many comparisons made between Georgie and Paxten, fair and unfair, like different players, same role, vacuum trying to be filled. And with Paxten having a coming out party last match with the 2 goals and an assist and throwing up the cellies, and Georgie trying to make a statement, all eyes should be on the 210s this game, because they're competitors, they're athletes. They hear the chatter. They know the inevitable relationship they have to each other in the role that Georgie used to play and Paxten now fills with the Rapids. This is my popcorn matchup. This is what I want to see.
And when you look at this, if you actually like compare these two players to each other and what's going on your FOT mob, right? 1 goal, 2 assists for Georgie, right? 2 goals, 1 assist out of Paxten. Georgie is sitting at a 7.61 rating. Paxten is sitting at 7.71. Like when you look at this, like these are 2 talents that are on stat sheet equal. And to watch them battle it out, I think will be a lot of fun. Hopefully it's a great match. Hopefully the Paxten gets the better of him. But like I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. And but it's scary. Georgie scares me because I know what he can do.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought you were getting like super weird with it for a second. I thought you were like, Georgie, 1 goal, 2 assists. Paxten, 2 goals, 1 assist. Georgie, 5'10". Paxten, 5'9". Georgie, 27 years of age. Paxten, 22. Just like, yeah, like all eyes should be on this one. It's a day game. Shout out to the boys at Commerce City Radio, Braden and Mitch, for pointing out Georgie's day game messy status. So watch out for Mihailovic at high noon. But I'd say watch out for our own Medford Messi, Paxten Herrington himself. I think what's going to be
drop some like trash talk and be like, hey, guess what? On FOT mob, I'm worth $12 million. What are you worth, Georgie? 7.3. Sit down on the bench where you belong.
Can you imagine if that was the shit talk on the field? Like, bro, you checked your FOT mob value lately? Because it's about to go down. But so neither of those guys are big shit talkers on the field. Like, I think the extent that like they curse and will like call people out, be like, that wasn't a foul. But I don't think those guys are like big shit talkers on the field. Yeah, this is the matchup. I think what could be really funny is like Hamza Ojedarin just is having none of Georgie and just cuts him down. Or we could get this. We could get a Georgie match. If Georgie Minoungou plays this game, I would love to hear the announcer have fun with that one.
Oh,
Georgie Mihailovic, Georgie Minoungou. Georgie Mihailovic, Georgie Minoungou. Georgie Minoungou plays for the Rapids. Georgie Mihailovic used to play for the Rapids. Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you hear the announcers with the Navajo?
He got it right.
Yeah, he got it right. And then they talked about it. Like, how hard is that to say?
Yeah, bro did his homework. Kudos to him.
Oh my God.
Although
it was great.
He was dogging Navajo the whole game and celebrating. I think it was Ian Joy was that announcer, and he was all on the Yappy Hour hype train and dogging Hafa Navajo. So at least he got the names right. Let's bring this baby home. We got to
bring this baby home that like maybe there's a chance in a long off world that we see Yarbrough?
No. That would be amazing, though. That would be wild. Yeah.
Just had to do a call out that they have like 3 people
A
from
wild
the Rapids.
William Yarbrough appears.
Just William Yarbrough.
Dude,
just
I
shows
love
up.
Yarby. Shout it. William Yarbrough is amazing.
Oh my
He's
God.
so fun.
I love that guy. He was awesome.
All right, we'll have to watch out for Josh Sargent if he comes on. Big expenditure. Hasn't yet flashed this season, but other than that, I'm ready to jump in predictions if you are.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read Sarah's?
I guess we get into it. I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm going to read Sarah's prediction verbatim. Score predictions! Exclamation! I'm Sarah. This is my Sarah voice. Rapids
Can you sing
2-0.
instead?
I don't. Rapids 2-0. Navarro and Yapi, Georgie and Robin cry in each other's arms, sad for what they left. Keegan pats them on the back, reminding them that at least they have health care and abortion rights. I think she's going to be so proud of me. I think I nailed it.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
We don't even need her anymore.
Yeah.
Just got you to sing and do
Well,
our
I told you we could just
predictions for her.
recreate her voice with the AI in the recording studio. Like, we don't technically need her. She's just a luxury monk.
It's true. It's just a luxury.
Hey, she's out there fighting the good fight, striking with the Sheridan Teachers Union. Good for them. I'm going to go 3-2. Paxten brace, Georgie brace, Georgie Minoungou. No, I'm not going to go Georgie. Paxten brace, Georgie brace, Dante Seeley goal.
Trying to type. All right. Damn. Okay. So you're gonna let Georgie score 2 on us? Like, what
I'm not going to let him. I would stop him. I mean, if they could call me up anytime, I'm pretty much like the best left center back and left wing back that's not playing in the league yet. So, like, you've got my number, guys.
That is facts.
And I don't care about cards either. I will cut an MFer down for the team. Yeah. Georgie, who?
Matt's actually flying out to Toronto to just take people down.
I cut Georgie Mihailovic down. Drake and his goons meet me outside of BMO after the game. You never see me again.
Oh, man. Okay. I'm going 3-0. I think we shut Georgie down. That's what I want. I feel like we have to shut Georgie down. If we let him be hot, I don't know if we can stop him. Like, I think that's a struggle. If he can get hot, if he can score, if he can be impactful, we're going to struggle. But if Pax can shut him down, I think that team just doesn't have it. And that's all we need to do is we got to shut Georgie down. And I think Pax can do it.
We're 2-0 on the Rapids revenge tour so far. Cole, Calvin did get an assist. We've got Georgie this week and then Sam Vines next week. All right, 3-0. Who are your goal scorers?
I'm going to go.
Say it. Say
Huff
Paxten
against the
hat-trick.
brace, and I'm getting Pax one.
All right.
I'm getting Pax one. I think Pax gets one. I think Navarro throws us on his back as well and just crushes it. I want him. I think he gets an early goal. I think that's what we get. We got Hoffa and an early goal. We'll call out Djordje, red card, takes a swing at Pax.
Oh, a double red. They just fight like cat fight. Fully like the ex and the current girlfriend have a cat fight. I'm so here for this. Or boyfriend.
Oh.
I don't think this is gender specific. It could be just cat fight all done.
Oh, can you believe we filled like over an hour of content?
Yeah, this always happens when Sarah's not on the pod. We aren't supposed to be allowed to do it by ourselves because we have no ability to stay in the structure.
And we didn't even talk about like the league at all.
Yeah. Fuck the league. We're not going around the league. We just went around our
No
own
fantasy,
our own
nothing.
brains.
Just us talking too much shop.
My
Hope
fantasy
y'all
is that
enjoyed it,
everyone
though.
shows up to the Open Cup match.
That's my fantasy. I hope 60,000 fans show up to the Open Cup match.
Streets are saying that 63,004 people listen to the Sum It Up podcast. I don't know. Our name was up on the Jumbotron a lot, so kind of a big deal. All right. Monk, Don Chicharron, Especial, intro, outro music. They are playing Blucifer Fest here in May. Get your tickets. I'm so jazzed for this. It's going to be basically what the UMS Underground Music Showcase used to be on South Broadway. I think it's going to be really fun. Merchandise is going to be hype. Go visit Sarah Vittori's Etsy store and get your Blue Pony Club ahead of Blucifer Fest so that you can truly look like the blues is loose. Where can they find you, Monk?
You know what? You can kind of randomly find me on Burgundy Sky at Monk of C38. Otherwise, you can find me behind the decks at the C38 tailgate or on the podcast semi-weekly. That's really it. You want to come find me? Come find me where we at. I think that Matt needs to put our Discord out so that you guys can actually find me in a social atmosphere because that's where I spend my time.
Which is weird because the only place I ever find you is at abandoned Burger King by Casa Bonita.
Well, yeah, because I can't afford to go into Casa Bonita. So.
All right, I got to bounce. I had to go see DJ RJ Jinx do his nostalgic music video bingo tonight at the Block Distillery. If you listen to this tomorrow and have a time machine, get in your car and go. I'll see you there.
Sweet. Say hi to Archie. Up the fucking pits.
Up the fucking pits.